So far, we have seen very basic configs for the Kafka producer, but in real projects, we usually do more configs, which is that we are adding configs for the reliability. Also, we are adding configs for the performance and so on. So let's go and see that what we are adding here. We have the basic configs that we have seen already, which is that we are defining the address of our servers. So we are defining what would be our key serializer, what would be our value serializer, but also we are adding here reliability settings. What are those? The first one is the acknowledgement, or simply we are calling them ACKs. So ACK0, which means that the fire and forget. So we are just sending message to Kafka with no confirmation that the message is received or not. It's the fastest one, but it's too risky. The second one is that the ACK1, which is that the only leader acknowledges that. So once a message is received by the leader, it returns, we act the message, which means that we confirm that, okay, at least the message is received by the leader. But the safest one is the all, which means that the all replicas acknowledge that message is received. This is the safest one, and usually we set X to all in production. So for the retries, right? What is the retries? Let's say we send a message to Kafka and the broker is temporarily cannot receive a message, or there is some issue, that temporary issue with the cluster, so we can retry, right? So by default, we can do that also in our code, but by default Kafka, we can set the retry, we can set the config for the retry. And for example, here we are setting that value to 5, right? So we are setting that the ACK configs to all, and also for the retry config, we are setting that to 5. The last one is the idempotence. So what's that mean is, let's say we send a message to Kafka and our producer has crashed, and let's say next time when we are sending a message, we are sending it the same message twice. So in order not to have a duplicate, we on the Kafka side, if the same message is received several times, then on the Kafka side, that message is only saved once, right? So that's why we are setting that the enable idempotence config, and we are setting that to true. So which means that even if we send the same message several times, that message will be received on the Kafka side once, and the downstream system will receive the message only once. So that is the settings that we are for the reliability. So to make our producer more reliable. And the second one is the performance. What's the performance? For the performance, first one is the compression. Let's say that we are sending too many messages to Kafka and we want them to be sent not right away. Let's say not when the message is received, to send the message right away, but we want to wait for some time. Let's say send the messages in some batches, right? Let's say that in 5 batches, 10 batches, and so on. So we can set the size for it. So as soon as the size of the messages is 16 kilobyte, let's say, right? So then in that case, we are sending those messages, not one by one, but we are sending in small batches. Also, we can send that the linger time. So what's that mean is, instead of sending with the size, right, with the, let's say, after reaching a certain size, so what we can do is we can wait for 5 millisecond, 10 millisecond, or whatever our config is, and only after that send the message. This one is if we are adding these two, so what's going to happen? What's going to happen is after 5 millisecond, let's say that we have 5 messages, but the size of them is much less than 16 kilobyte, right? We are going to send them anyway because this one prevails here. So this one comes first. So whichever comes first, we are going to send. Or let's say that after only 3 milliseconds, we have messages that are more than 16 kilobyte, then we are going to send those to Kafka. And the last one is that we can compress the messages that we are sending to Kafka, right? For the performance and for the compressing, for the batching, for the compression type, we can use different compression type. We can use, for example, gzip. In this case, we are using a snappy for the compression type. And that's it. The rest is the same. So we are creating a producer, and we are publishing 10 messages to the Kafka with the ID, and we are creating a record, and we are sending to the test topic our key and value, and after that we are closing the producer in order to not to waste the resources. Let's run it. Let's run and see that our messages are published to the Kafka. Yes, messages are sent to Kafka. I have also created here one producer. So in the producer, so we have a zookeeper here, we have a Kafka, and also I have created one consumer to consume from our test topic, right? And as you can see here, messages, advanced messages with number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they are received.